sequence activated.
And hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Runkly here for the Self-Destruct Sequence Podcast.
And I'm Morphod, and I most certainly failed my last electromagnetics exam. Thank you for joining us. It is Saturday, March 12th, based on the calendar that is not here because I am visiting a good friend, Melvin. And this is episode 17 of the Self-Destruct Sequence. Thank you very much for joining us.
Sorry about your test.
Yeah, me too. But hey, half the class, it'll be curved.
Well, good luck with the curve. All right, so we don't have a whole lot of brand new stuff to talk about this week, but what we do have to talk about is big. We're going to start with this huge Overload.
I'm not Scion. I don't have that echo.
Oh, you don't? Yes. You got the hate, though. That's all you need. So, yeah, we had Overload, which finished its Kickstarter off yesterday morning. They had a 24-hour live stream, and with 2 hours to go, they hit the goal. 306,000 was the total amount they raised, a little more than that. So we will be seeing a new game from the Old Descent guys in March of 2017.
That's pretty fantastic. I know that this has been more readily embraced by the community as kind of like, hey, did somebody finally get it? Descent rebooted, not reinvented, rebooted.
Yes, there are two. There's definitely two different schools there behind whether you want to reinvent the game or just reboot it like this to what people know and love. We'll see what happens with it. But of course, have you played the teaser at all?
I'm afraid not. I don't have a very good internet connection. Did not take advantage of the opportunity when I was on fiber. That was very foolish of me. And I have no idea. Usually, early access type stuff there isn't optimized for poor hardware, which is what I'm working with.
Yeah, they did do an optimization pass with the game because I was initially unable to play it on high shadows, and the last time I downloaded it, I was able to bump it straight away, and it worked just fine. So you might find it a little more friendly if you're able to give it a shot.
Duly noted. Got a few questions for you concerning that.
Absolutely.
First of all, the Kickstarter has succeeded in that it's met its goal. Is it still open to receive donations?
So what they're going to do is apparently they're going to open up donations on their website because one of the issues, of course, with Kickstarter and Descent Underground suffered from the same issue was that donations that are made through Kickstarter can only be done through certain means. And especially for players over in Europe, we have a big Germany contingent of Sixtoff fans. They don't have access to credit cards as readily as people in the United States do. So,
or at least the ones that are accepted on Kickstarter.
So they're going to be opening it up to PayPal. I don't have many details past that, but I mean, you can check out playoverload.com, and their forums are going strong over there. I was a little concerned. The last day before the Thursday when they started the live stream and I saw that the numbers were not going up very much, I was really concerned that they were going to miss their mark. But I guess the Descent fans just did not want that to happen, and they pulled through literally overnight. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning when Pacific time when they hit it, and they came through and really did a strong last push. And it's interesting that they got to 306 because if I remember correctly, I'm going to check Descent Underground's Kickstarter, but I remember after Descent Underground hit their goal, people started backing off on some of their donations. And they made it to 601,000. So they only went a small percentage, not even 1% over their total, whereas Revival Productions went 2% over their total. Granted, they only had 2 hours to get more donations, but the point is people weren't backing out their donations at the end, which I found interesting. So, the Kickstarter succeeds, 306,000 raised. Very cool. So,
All right, so I still have one more question to push on that so there's still an opportunity for people to be able to
mhm.
support the project. I know that a lot of people were like, well, maybe it won't meet the goal, but now that it's passed, they may have enough faith in the project to be able to start putting toward there, and also different sources that were of um, different sources of donations are now more available after they get that set up. I'm certain that we'll provide that information here on this podcast once that's set up for. What's the name of the studios again? Revival
Revival
Productions.
Productions, yes.
The next question I have is, doing a fundraiser, particularly out, for something that's just private interest. Hey, you want this game to be made? What were some of the things that they were doing during this 24-hour stream to try to
Oh
encourage people
man,
to back?
they did so many things. They played all kinds of 6 Degree of Freedom games. Um, if I were Descendant Studios, I would not go back and watch the Descent Underground portion. Uh, but I mean, they played all kinds of games. They played Geocore. They played Sublevel Zero. I don't know if they played Retrovirus. They were talking about doing it, but I don't remember them playing it. And of course, they were playing Revival. But not only were they playing Revival, they started tweaking the game. Luke Schneider made a brand new challenge map during the live stream, and what was cool about that is Dracona downloaded this and recorded a video of herself getting almost 300 kills in that map, which is insane. And they played it back on the stream later. It was like a 30-minute video. They played the majority of it. It's just like, wow, holy crap, this is really awesome. So they did that. They added a speed run timer in, just for shits and grins, I guess you can call it. For no reason other than that they could. They were just showing off the stuff that they could do. It was really cool, and by the time that the 24 hours was up, obviously they were all extremely exhausted. But they did
Fundraising
things.
is a significant effort, and
Yeah, they did
I'm certain that they're
interviews.
very happy that they met all their. Sorry,
Yeah,
was it their minimum goal? Was that a stretch goal? What's up?
300,000 was the minimum goal. They did not reach the first stretch goal. That was they weren't going to get 50,000 in 2 hours. But but yeah, I mean it's absolutely awesome. Like I said, they had interviews. They talked about the history of how Revival Productions and Overload came about, stuff like that. There was I think Luke Schneider or somebody close to him posted a Instagram visual account of how he got involved with Descent and Overload. It's really neat how everything just came together for this, and so yeah, we're going to see Overload coming out hopefully around March 2017, assuming that it doesn't get pushed back. You never know. Multiplayer should be about 8 months after that, so that pushes it to the end of 2017. It seems a long ways off, but keep in mind, Descent Underground started 1 year ago this month. So, or at least
I'm seeing in
we're
chat
aware
here,
of.
Dracona has posted that she made a 2-minute highlight of her challenge run.
Absolutely, yeah.
We can put that in our show notes, certainly. Just the good bits of what I'm understanding to be a very impressive showing. I haven't seen any of it myself.
Yeah, it's
So,
really cool because the one particular bot Blades, he's nasty. I mean, he just runs you over.
is that the one
That's
with
all he does.
the two chainsaws?
And they made him harder.
Oh,
They
no.
decided he wasn't
As if I
hard
weren't
enough.
terrified enough already.
They decided to make him harder. So, congratulations to Revival Productions. And really, that's all we have for the news this week. We don't have anything new to discuss with Rebirth and Retro, so we'll go right into the Rangers stuff. Sirius, of course, hosted his Descent Vignettes game today. I swear, Furno was going to kill me with that fusion cannon. He whipped out the fusion cannon in a co-op game. I'm surprised I didn't die. I did get hit by him, but I didn't. He never killed me. But Furno, thanks, appreciate it. But that happened. That happened today, and I even think one of the games is still ongoing. So Sirius hosts this about once a month, but there's going to be a Rangers event next week. They call the Cold Start Co-op. This is next Saturday, I believe, March 19th. Wow. Sirius says one of them's still on level 21. Whew.
I'm seeing death counts of, goodness, 40, 50, 62, and then you add 40 to that, 100 and, yeah, about 100 right now. There's
Oh
100
my god, that's
deaths in
startling.
that game right now,
Whew,
and 5 suicides from one of the players.
that
They've
is
been playing for 165 minutes.
yeah, that is one crazy, crazy game right there. So yeah, they're going to be doing a cold start co-op next week. And the idea behind this is instead of going through the exit, you either restart the game or you just die in the level, so that you restart the next level with level ones and concussions and nothing else. And the idea is to get through every level like that. So uh, that's one of their bi-weekly events that they're doing. Uh, So definitely check that out. That's over at descentrangers.com. And then, of course, last night, to celebrate Overload success, we ran the observatory again. And this went for quite some time. We almost went 6 hours last night. It was pretty awesome.
It was, and that's the thing is we had enough people even in the after party that we were starting to kick people from Mumble who were idle that hadn't been around for a few hours
Yeah,
just to make room.
and to give you an idea of how many people signed up for this, we had about if I recall the number correctly, I think it was either 8 or 9 people had signed up to defend their level. We ended up having 11 games played, and probably another 12 that we couldn't get to. I mean, it was just it wasn't like last time where we just had enough matches to fill up the space. We could have gone all night if people were willing to stick around. And I tell you what, the last time I did this, I think I said I was spent after the 4 hours, and this went almost 6. I was amazed I was still going after that. I thought I was going to head like right to bed, and I ended up doing a few more things. Actually, cast a game for Necrodancer, but that's. But yeah, we'll go through the results here. It started out with Ernie just completely trashing Watts in Athena X2. Watts looked like he didn't know where he was half the time.
It was a little bit of a hiccup. They started off a good 6 minutes into Athena vanilla, but
Yeah, but they wanted
then
to be X2.
Ernie realized that my goodness, I don't have nearly as many homing missiles as I sure wish I did.
Yep, and we checked on that too on the stream. We were like, well, if it's not X2, you should be able to walk up to this missile. And they hadn't touched one of the missiles up by where the fusion cannon is, and it's like, yeah, there's no second missile here. So they restarted it, and Ernie just walked all over him. It was a class, a master class, that's for sure. And then we had one of the more entertaining matches of the night with you, Morphod, taking out Melvin 20-18 and Lurk. But I think the story of that game was less
Red hemorrhoids as opposed to the non-red ones.
those would be
Proxy
the
mines
gold
everywhere.
Oh
In
my
the same
God.
hallway.
Yes, over and over.
We watched that replay today, this afternoon, Melvin and I, on his couch, drinking his beer. And in spite of all of his hospitality, I still loathe him.
Those proxy mines were something else. But I have to point out one of the kills in that game. It was when the game was tied at 15, and I really think this turned the game in your favor. Was when he was camping in that small room between the hallway and the large room, and you just used plasma, opened the door, and just annihilated him with the plasma. It's like he didn't even know where it was coming from, and you got the kill. He respawns, you immediately get another kill. He respawns again, you get some damage on him. It's like, oh man, this game just got ugly. I mean, it was. He did pull it back to a tie at one point, but 2018.
Well, Melvin and I have played in each other enough that it's not so much that we are in each other's heads, but rather that we are very much approaching levels in remarkably similar ways.
Yes.
Which is bizarre because that doesn't seem to apply to when Melvin plays. Melvin doesn't play other opponents the same way that I do, but I really think that between the two of us, when we're playing against each other, we play a rule set, an algorithm that is quite a bit different. It just won't work if we play it to anybody. If we play the same way we do against each other, against anybody else, we'd get wrecked.
Yeah.
So. It's just like any other storied rivalry. It evolves into a different game.
Yep. And then we had one of the first matches of the night that had
A
some
little bit of revenge in this one.
connection issues. Cyrus was going to play a bunch of games, and he ended up having to stop playing because his connection was kind of not good. But Jedi Luke took him out and ripped 20-8. There were 2 more Proxmine kills in that game, both by Jedi Luke.
You'll see later on in our bi-weekly recap here why that was a significant match.
Indeed. And then another barn burner. Our first overtime game on the Observatory was you, Morpha, defeating Entropy 2119 in Zenith. And I have to tell you, I knew that Zenith was going to play well on the on Observer mode. I was surprised at how well it looked. It was fantastic. It was kind of funny because halfway through that game, Seaworm is like, you should fly upside down. I was like, well, okay, I'll oblige. I turned upside down.
Is there an upside down in Zenith?
No,
I was unaware.
Okay, so if you go into that room with the darker room with the energy center at one end, and you read the signs on the wall, one of them is right side up, one of them is upside down. So, yeah, there's probably not a right
Up is
way.
down.
Up is down, absolutely. So
I know that during that match, it was being broadcast on delay in the living room. And
nice.
Melvin told me later that probably the best part of the match was looking over to me, cutting another piece of my dinner and eating it between kills.
Man. So, yes, that also featured a 5th proxy kill. This time it was Entropy dropping a proxy mine right as you were coming around the corner. You barreled into the mine and took damage, but Entropy was still close enough it caused a suicide. So that was his suicide that game. I don't know if you saw it. That's what happened. There were 5.
I hate everything.
5 proxy mine kills that last night, which is incredible. I didn't talk about Ernie and Watts. They had a reactor kill, but it was kind of in the first game. So we're gonna count it.
That you had mentioned that in future shows that you'd like to keep.
Yes, I want to keep a
count. Team proxy versus team reactor.
Proxy versus team reactor, and see who
which
wins.
is going to be rough because a lot of levels don't have reactors in
That's
them.
true. But there's some that may not have proxy mines either. So I don't know. We'll see. And then Lady Silver showed us why Crimson is her home, as Furno started out pretty good against her, but she took off and put up a 20-10 win over Furno. It's not a whole lot to say other than
it was a pretty solid performance. I know that Furno, when Furno lost momentum, you could see that Lady Silver was definitely becoming a lot more comfortable with the level and starting to drive the pace. Inferno was reacting more than he was being proactive. So when you are reactive, it does require a different set of skills and talents in order to perform well, particularly when you're attacking somebody's home. Nonetheless, props to, I believe, that was one of the few bronze on bronze matchups. There weren't a lot of bronze signing up until the last minute.
Yeah, we had one that I wasn't even expecting until the very end. That was, but we'll get to that. Jedi Luke, who's decided to take up Dracona's level of wrath with X2 secondaries as his home. And Dracona's like, get out of my house. I built this place, but that didn't come to pass. Jedi Luke, after a very close first half, ran away in the second half and took Dracona out 20-14 in Wrath X2. One of the faster matches of the night. And
goodness, wasn't it like 13 minutes?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. And one of the things that I saw Dracona do repeatedly that Jedi Luke was able to take advantage of. There's the main room that's got the energy center on the side with the energy center. There's a place where you can go up, and there's the hallway that's up above that energy center. She would peek up there, and I think it was like 3 or 4 times Jedi Luke just had a smart waiting for her and killed her with it. Mm-hmm. It's like, and you could see what she's doing. She's trying to fire something down the hallway, like quad lasers or maybe another smart herself, and he caught her that way a few times. Jedi Luke did not get caught like that. So it's...
I will say that when you started talking about that, that was the vision in my head. That was the critical point of the match. You find a way to address that, then half of those get eliminated. But the real trouble is, how do you address that in a level that is that small
and
that
has
fast?
20 smart missiles.
20. Exactly.
20. That's
So
that's insane. Some people want to play this
yeah,
X5.
we may criticize, but golly, you know what? You're not going to see me get 14 in the same conditions.
No, absolutely. So, and then we had what I thought was a surprising score. P-Funk defended his home level of Salute against Furno. Furno is a bronze pilot. This was our first tier mismatch of the night, so we're kind of expecting P-Funk to win. And based on his score against Lady Silver earlier, I don't think anyone expected him to get 10 in there. Now, I found out later that, one, P-Funk changed his home level at the last second. I don't know when he changed it, but it was prior to the event. He changed it from NISA, which was what it was originally, to Salute. Now, Salute's not an uncommon level. It is uncommon enough that I played it blind not too long ago. Well, Furno played
It's
blind.
it's not quite core, but it's starting to gain popularity.
Yeah. It was played a lot at the LAN in Denver. It got played a lot there. And Furno put up 10 on him in a level he'd never seen before. So...
Furno has never seen...
He'd never seen Salute before.
Well, that changes my opinion of the match significantly. Bravo for flying blind.
Not
that
just
definitely
blind,
explains
but
the disorientation at the beginning of the match.
Mm-hmm. So P-Funk with a nice score against a silver pilot there.
You mean Furno against P-Funk?
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. And one way or the other.
And
then Lady Silver came back to defend her home. This was our second mismatch of the night and only our third bus driver, as Entropy took care of business in Crimson 20-14. And it was kind of interesting because Lady Silver tried to keep it close, but at the end he just got a few in a row that it looked like he wanted to close that out fast, and he
gained momentum. And I can't help but think that just a willingness to ride the hate train might have brought it back. But at the end of the day, I think Entropy demonstrated he's a silver pilot, and a solid silver pilot at that.
Yes. And then what I think, I consider this next match to be not just the match of the night, but potentially the highlight of the week. And this was Entropy defending Zenith again, and again just missing out by 2 points. But here's how he lost. He lost to Enzo03, and Enzo had never seen the level before. This is Zenith. If you have not seen Zenith, I suggest you load it up and fly around in it, and you'll see why this was such an amazing result to me.
Imagine that a gyroscope has vomited in on its own intestines. That is what Zenith looks like.
That is Zenith. And Enzo, now this isn't to say that Entropy didn't put up a fight, because oh my god, some of the sneaky follows that he got were amazing. I mean, me and Jedi, this was the first match that Jedi had cast that night, and we were just amazed at how Entropy would get behind him, and sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't, but keeping up with them in those tunnels was just insane. And then they'd have these really long dogfights. I mean, these two would empty Vulcan cannons on each other and come away on scratch. Granted, there was like apparently 160 ping or something like that, but I mean, the match itself, it played like it looked really cool.
I can guarantee you that in Entropy's eyes right now, Enzo 03 is public enemy number 1.
Yeah, that's
to add on top of that, for those who have been following along or are already part of the are not part of the community, it's just we have 3 basic tiers of competition. Enzo is currently unranked, but has historically been ranked as a bronze pilot, and a solid one at that, with decent scores. Certainly an upper bronze pilot by demonstrated performance in the past, to take on Entropy, who's arguably middle tier silver in his home level. Understand, I think I was the only person who actually signed up to play Entropy in his home level, because no one wants to deal with him there.
Yeah, and when I saw
do it blind, brilliant performance.
And when I saw, because I had a couple options to give him an opponent. One of them was already gone for the day. I think it was I don't know if it was Ernie. Ernie had to leave early, but I don't remember. The other silver pilot wasn't there, and then The other option was Lady Silver. Well, Lady Silver just got out of a match. And I was like, well, do I really want to give him Zenith? Does he even know Zenith? Well, he signed up for it. So we gave it to him, and yeah, it was just insane. Now, a little thing about Enzo, I remember when we were doing the Descent Rangers soul contingency test for it's just private to the Descent Rangers, and we had like about 8 or 9 people in there. And I remember I won the first match, but every match after that went to Enzo, and yeah, he just cleaned up. So he's definitely got the skills, and he proved it last night. It was an impressive performance. Next one, not so much. This was a 41-minute sloth fest in Ant Bend. This made P-Funk look fast, folks.
Oh no, really? The one match that P-Funk played, I was singing, praises to a personal little god, uh, that P-Funk decided to play in Salute instead of Nysa, but I gotta admit, I was starting to fade off here watching this.
Yeah.
Not that it wasn't well played. It was that
there were a couple issues.
There was one good 60-minute camp from, sorry, 60-second camp from both players at one point, wasn't there?
Two cubes apart, yeah. Literally two cubes apart.
And so, Ant Bend is certainly a very strange level.
There was one person in a lower tunnel, and there was a room right next to him. So you had a cube next to it, and then a cube above that. They could not see each other, but they were like right there, and it was just it was pretty bad.
Now Ant Bend is a curious level built by Seaworm. Mm-hmm. So not only is he defending his home, it's also a house that he built.
Yep.
It's one of the few 4-dimensional levels, and from my understanding, the rendering for that could become a bit confusing as far as a third-person perspective goes.
Yeah, because as a third-person perspective, you see all the cubes all the time. So you see that energy center overlapped on that upper room. So there were times where I'd have to explain, no, they can't see each other. This guy's in the energy center. That person's in the main room. But other than that, it wasn't that bad, because Ant Bend's 4-dimensionalism is very light. It's only
it's
that
minimal.
one.
It's not like Halls of Iconia.
No, it's not like, and that was one of the levels I tested with, was Halls of Iconia, where it looks like there's these little cells that there's no possible way to get in or out of. But that's because there's 2 hallways intersecting the same space.
Yeah.
And that would
I don't even I don't even know what a solution is for looking at a 4D level. But
yeah, basically all we do is look at the walls.
Descent.
Yeah.
This is Descent. This is Observatory. What kind of levels did we play? We played some traditional levels. We played some levels on the fringe of popular. We didn't play a lot of Logic wasn't played once.
Yeah.
For example, that's the most popular level. Instead, we're playing levels that are on the fringe. Rip is it's not a core level. Zenith, definitely not a core level. Crimson just became core this last season. Salute, not core. Wrath, brand new.
Yeah.
Ant Bend is way out there as a 4-dimensional level. So
and
we're playing all over the place.
I'll tell you from personal experience, it is difficult to evict Seaworm out of his home level. We played one night, and this was a while. I think this was before the LAN, and I just squeaked by. I was down 22-21 and came away with a 24-22 overtime win against him, and it was so hard to play him in that map because he knows it so well. In fact, interesting thing about Seaworm, the only level he's ever beaten me in is in Zenith, and he did it twice. And it just seems that if he knows the level, he plays well outside of his class in terms of skill level. So props to Seaworm for putting up 20-15. The game was riddled with connection issues. It was probably the least fun match to watch, just because of how long it went and the connection issues. So we kind of learned from this that it seemed like the format was going to work pretty good, but we had a couple games like the Ernie Watts game. I figured I'd be a lot closer to 20-4, and then to close out the night, we did something I actually kind of regret doing, was Morphod defending against Furno, and that match was 7-3 at one point. And Morphod gets 13 in a row to close it out 20-3. And I was like, Furno, did you want to forget that match or something? This is like at 19-3. It was like, I quit. It was like,
oh. Yeah, I props to him for wanting to play me there. It's I have trouble getting gold pilots to play me there.
Yeah, he did a good job though. 20-3. Um, but I mean, it seemed like every time he turned around that he was getting hit by something that he didn't want to get hit by. He did have one good point where he hit you with for like I think it was like 50 or 60 damage or something like that. And I pointed out, okay, he just Morphon's got 12 kills in a row on him from shields alone. That offsets what he just hit him. It's like it's no way he's
Yeah,
gonna kill him, and then he
that
gets
was
the
how it
kill.
went. I was dreadfully low on shields and just kept grabbing 6 shields, 6 shields, 6 shields.
Yeah, that's all you needed, and so that's how we closed out the night. We had 7 people defending their home successfully. We had 4 matches where there were bus drivers awarded, so that was pretty cool. Dracona's asking who's going to pick Straight Logic as a home. Not me. I think the only one who could even consider that would be P Funk.
Yeah, the home levels tend to be, just a couple steps off the beaten path.
Mm-hmm.
Popular enough. Yeah, I've made a personal vow that my home level will always be a core level, but other folks, a home level is supposed to be what what you're supposed to be exceptional at, and oftentimes that requires exploring a new space that other people haven't explored nearly as much as you, and that's why we get this kind of level matchup.
Yeah. And that's what makes results like Enzo versus Entropy beating him 2018. That's what makes results like that so awesome. Is that Entropy is supposed to be the one that knows the level inside and out, yet he couldn't come away with a win. And that kind of match is exciting to watch.
All in all, I think I extended my personal compliments to you last night, but frankly, you put on a hell of a show, and I know
I
that the
couldn't do it
community
alone.
is definitely, based on just how many people signed up,
Yes.
the community is definitely looking forward to the next observatory, and Scion Jedi Luke stepping up into the announcer booth. Hey, this is us. We're broadcasting us. We're showcasing us, and the show is not shy about showing it. We will show anybody who's willing to play anybody. You get a mutual matchup that goes on the show. Sure thing.
Yeah.
I look forward to see how the show evolves and develops going forward. And I think that we're going to see some pretty startling matchups in future editions. So
Yeah, we've been talking about what to do next with it. There were some things that definitely worked out last night, and there were some things that definitely did not. And I think those ones that don't really work are the ones that we need to target to try to avoid. Like, so, Seaworm and Negatrator, that was 20-15, but that match was just, I mean, it was hard to watch.
it was a sloth fest, as you said.
That's the kind of thing that I would be looking to avoid in the future. To be completely honest, I mean, it's no knock against the two of them.
Nobody wants
they played
to see,
the map the way they wanted to play it.
Nobody wants to see a 23 blowout.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's
No matter how well played by both talent on both sides,
Yeah.
we got a show to put on.
Yeah, that's
So,
one of the things that I didn't like about the first one was that there was only one legitimate close game.
Yeah.
This time we had way more.
By all the numbers, I really thought that Watts was going to at least get into double digits.
Yeah, and Watts just got completely. I mean, there were times where it looked like he didn't know where the hallway was. This is Athena. Yeah, Athena's a core level. You should know where you need to go.
Inevitably, we're gonna find a few matches that don't go the way. But hey, you know what? It's also very similar that way.
Yes,
Sports.
real sports. Yep, where you're gonna have like the Seahawks blowing out the Buccaneers like 40-3. It's gonna happen. So
alrighty.
So
either way,
anyway,
fantastic show. Thank you for putting it on, Ron.
Yeah, we'll look into. I'm thinking of maybe starting to do shorter shows, but more often. That's my thought. But
I don't think people would disagree with you.
Yeah. So, but a lot of fun, and we're definitely doing it again. So yeah, that's the observatory.
Moving on in the show itinerary here, I guess I have a little bit of catch up to do. Last week I had been caught in a compromising position. I was driving home while the show was going on, and thank you for running the show in my absence, Ron. But I guess we stepped out of some DCL news. Is that correct?
Yeah, we for this week.
All right. Well, then I should be doing a 2-week recap,
No, no,
correct?
no. I got the last week.
You got the last week.
I did. It was difficult. I have
Oh,
a lot more respect for what you do after last week.
well, it's too damn bad. I'm doing a 2-week
Oh
recap because
no.
that's what's typed up here, and you all could deal with it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Critical Failure Sketch. No, wait, that's the other
No,
community
no,
I'm
no.
part of.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Hold on.
Self-Destruct Sequence podcast with the DCO recaps for the past 2 weeks. Just a recap. In general, we have had a curious amount of cross-tier matches. I mean, I'm looking at bronze versus bronze action, 18 matches. Gold, but then you look at silver versus bronze, 60. Bronze is trying hard to play up. And silver's that, yeah, I could take it, but it's just remarkable to see that, you got 18 matches, bronze versus bronze, 26 matches, silver versus silver. But cross tier, it's 60. So lots of cross tier action all across the board. Didn't have a chance to count gold versus gold, but I know that gold has been remarkably active, as you'll see once we get there. We'll start off with bronze. We got the last 2 weeks to cover here. We're going to start off with Spud.
Ooh,
Spud,
yeah.
solid top bronze player, has gone 4-1 versus bronze in playing 11 total matches against all tiers in the last 2 weeks. Highlights include a 2017 win against Furno and Ascend. Maybe that should be a highlight for Furno. My goodness. And a 2017 against Can I Play Dad in Vamped. Again, maybe that should be for Can I Play Dad. Hey, as I start to feel my way out through these capsules, I'll start to understand the qualitative value for each. But do know that Spud was able to, under threat, lock away those games that were very close. Another big highlight for Spud this week. He's got a threat against Silver, and I've got a phone call coming in from a number I don't recognize, so you can go pound sand, buddy. It's got a 15-20 against Vaniac in Mind Tricks. That's right, Spud poking up with his poking upward, keeping Silver honest there. Next on the hot bronze list, we got Lady Silver sitting at top bronze, playing 29 matches this week, is 4-1 against bronze in the last 2 weeks. Excuse me. Dark Horse 27-25 against
Yeah, we talked about this last week. Yeah.
in Barathrum,
Yeah.
but also a 2017 against War Master and Flea, placing the ladder in an absurd position where top bronze was above every single silver pilot on the ladder.
Second time that's happened this season.
Additional matches against silver, which I classify here as you have a dark horse, but you also have a threat where you're starting to get real good scores against the tier above you. 16-20 against Roncley and Lurk. 16-20 War Master in Mind Tricks. This was a rematch after War Master lost in Flea. 15-20 against War Master and Vamped NYDP, and 16-20 against Maniac and Barathrum. So excellent action out of Lady Silver this week. Moving on to Furno. Furno has played 11 matches in the last week, 2v2. 2-2 against Bronze Pilots. Top score of 20 to 15 against Static in the level Take 2. Rooster 61, 11 matches total, 2-3 versus Bronze this week, but he's got high games, 20-16 against Spud in Rip. And very remarkably, a 20-10 against Lady Silver in Bluebird. Bluebird, yep. Rooster 61's home level. Lady Silver, aggressive pilot. Not explicitly a dogfighting pilot, but aggressive enough that you don't think that you'd be too concerned about it.
Against Rooster 61, I would be concerned about it.
And Can I Play Dad? 15 matches this week, 2-4 versus Bronze, with a marquee win 2015 against Skywarp in Nysa.
And I also want to
give him a few returning. Sorry,
I also want to give him props for putting up double digits on me for the first time. He's improved dramatically from that 20 to -1 I got him in Take 2.
Props to Can I Play Dad there. For returning pilots, we have SDF Jeff and PP Sky.
Yay!
Both returned with a 3-game series. SDF Jeff taking all of them in a close game of 2015 against PP Sky in the newly released level Wrath. Seaworm and Negatradoron have both returned. at least as far as last night was concerned. 2015 was the score in Ant Ben, as previously mentioned during the observatory. And also, Venom666 has returned, playing a couple matches against Watts and a few other opponents. Welcome back to all of you. Important things to note: we've had two retirements in bronze tier. Swarthy has retired due to his health recommendation from his doctor.
He has unretired as of today.
Oh my goodness. That's
He's back.
developing. Either way, he had slipped in 11 matches on us, 10 of those against Silver. And it is definitely banging the war drums about trying to make Silver by challenging more difficult competition. And Apo has stepped back and retired for a short bit due to extracurricular activities revolving his school. And that pretty much ties it up for bronze tier. We're going to move on to silver. We have Vaniac here playing 28 matches. Is 4-5 against silver. Marquee matches: 2016 against Red-Eyed Fuse, 2017 Melvin and Crimson, 2018 Melvin and Logic, and 2018 Hyena Infused. And on top of that, he's gotten a threatening score against the Gold Pilot, 15-20 against Dracona in Skunked.
That's insane.
That's a very impressive performance. Then we have War Master is playing 11 matches this week, 2-2 against Silver. With high games, close games, 2015 against Vaniac and Fused, and 2015 Vaniac and Wyndham. Has picked up a dark horse against Behemoth, 23-21 in Vamped. And and this is very impressive, but he's demonstrated he could do this several times. 18-20 against Soldier in Flea.
Wow, that's seriously a threat there.
Silver knocking at the door and definitely not being shy about it. P-Funk playing 11 matches this week. Again, threatening gold. Silver is getting uppity this week with a 19-21 overtime loss to Lothar Bot.
Wow.
In his new home of Salute.
Holy, that's a serious score against Lothar. That is really good.
We have Melvin returning in the last 2 weeks, playing 17 matches with another threatening score against Gold. That's a 16-20 against Cyrus in Rip.
Whew. That's Cyrus's home level.
That is. Other matchups that I'm seeing here, I see Ernie during the observatory holding another silver pilot to less than 5 points or less.
Yeah. Less than
holding
5
Watts
counts.
to a score of 4. Holding Watts to a score of 4 in his home level of Athena X2. Hyena, also on the highlight list this week, a 2018 win against Maniac and Neptune. I guess the two of them exchanged 2018 series there, 1-1. Demos has unretired but has not played any matches so far. Very exciting player to have
he was
back.
He was one of the people that signed up last night, and I just could not get him a match.
That's unfortunate, but hopefully he has motivation to stick around.
Yeah.
Who else do I have? Mo taking up the top silver spot. Warmaster had picked up the top silver spot by getting his dark horse win over Behemoth. Mo beats him solidly 2016 in Athena. And has not defended the top silver since, but he's a little bit difficult fellow to get hold of. I'm certain he'll be around to defend that soon enough. Other than that, we have a series between myself and Melvin. I'm currently landing at his house. There's 8 games in the series. I'm in the lead 6-2. Marquee wins 16-18 Godspeed and 16-18 Lurk, which was broadcast on the observatory. For Melvin, he's got a 2017 win in Take-Two. 2018.
Okay.
2018. Melvin has a 2017 win in Take-Two and a 2014 drubbing in IO as his wins.
Why are you playing that level?
We played 3 times in Take-Two.
Why are you playing that level?
What?
Why are you playing EO?
Why do I play it?
Yeah.
I like it.
You're insane.
It used to be my home level. Ask Mark. Mark thinks it's a fine level. Almost as good as Wyndham.
But Mark doesn't like Wyndham. I don't know why. It's a great level. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Other than that, just to get through things quickly here, I've put in 38 matches this week. I'm 15-2 against Silver with a very nervous time against P-Funk 2015 in Flea. I am 6-0 in trophy matches, several of those
Hmm.
being X4 trophy defenses against Ronkley,
Those
barely,
those were
including a
fun.
23-21 overtime, 22-20 overtime in Logic X4 both times, and of course, Disorientation Trophy 20.
What?
Excuse me, 20 Disorientation Trophy 21-19 against Entropy in Zenith last night.
That was
I'm
a
also 2 and
trophy
7.
match.
Yeah, that's a trophy match.
Oh.
Yeah, all of those are trophy matches.
I'll see you in Octave Pro.
Okay. And record against Gold is kind of fallen off here lately. 2 and 7 against Gold the past 2 weeks. Dark Horses again against Sirius and Mind Tricks and Logic X4. And playing Diablo close, 18-20 and 17-20 and Wrath in EO. And also an 18-20 game infused against DJ CJR. We have more about that a little bit later. And that's going to wrap up Silver Tier here. We're going to move on to Gold. Lots of Gold action. Didn't even have time to tally everything. I would have tallied things up a little bit more if I guess the DCL was having a little bit of a hiccup. We got heck, I just have it laid out here. Jedi Luke is the top here. 75 matches in the last 2 weeks. A record of 52-4 against Gold is 11-0 in X4 trophy matches. And as in previous weeks, I separate the series from the individual pilot. So we have
Before you continue on, I do want to mention something about that X4 trophy.
Yeah.
143 matches won
For the season.
for the season at X4. Wow. That's insane.
Very impressive. So, but not nothing less to be expected from one of the pioneers of the game style. But yeah, I've separated out a lot of these scores because Gold has been very active against each other. They've created several series that are several matches long. So even though I'm not going to mention all of his marquee wins here, I'll get into detail that later. Big wins, just close games and all of that. 2015 against Sirius and Flea, against Sirius and Logic X4 2015. 2018 against Sirius and Vamped X2, and a 2015 against Soldier Infused X2. In addition to that, holding Behemoth to 10 points or less 6 times. Holding another Gold pilot to 10 points or less is a huge accomplishment. But on top of that, held a Gold pilot to 6 points or less. 5 points or less. He did that to Behemoth once. And we'll go further into the capsules later on the matchups. Mark 392 has played 8 matches this week, 6 of them against Gold, defending his number 1 spot. The closest game was a 2016 defending against Cyrus in Ascend. Has held Gold pilots to 10 points or less 3 times, twice against Sirius and once against Behemoth, and has held another Gold pilot to 5 points or less, doing that to Sirius early in the week.
Man, you don't see Sirius get single digits very often.
Absolutely not.
Doesn't happen.
We have seen some activity about it from DJ CJR playing me twice. But those are the only 2 matches that he's played. That was a very solid win in Athena, like 20-11, and then a close game in Fuse, 20-18. He certainly has demonstrated that he's quite capable, but I hope that he makes a more dedicated return than just a couple token matches. If I recall correctly, he unretired just as an amusement, but he was putting in a couple games. Hopefully we'll see him around a little bit more often. Cyrus, 26 matches in the last week, is 1-2 against the Gold that is not Blue Orb. Including an overtime win 21-19 against Dracona in Ascend. Sirius has 13 matches this week, playing mostly Mark 392 and Jedi, but has 1 match outside of Blue Orb pilots. That's 23-21 overtime win against Cyrus in his home of Rip. Pardon?
Big win.
Big win, absolutely. Sirius has just got something that gets underneath Cyrus's skin. And he's continuing to exploit that, whatever it is. Behemoth, putting in 18 matches, playing mostly Jedi Luke during that time, but he's got 1 good win outside of Blue Orb pilots. That's a 2015 win against Diablo in the new level of Wrath. From my understanding, that was like his first time playing it, too. We got
Yeah, both.
Dracona playing 26 matches this week, is 2-2 against Gold that is not Blue Orb, with a win of 2015 over Diablo Wrath as the marquee. Yeah, that I feel kind of. Again, don't think I'm diminishing what's happening. And we're getting to the legacy. Sorry, the lengthy matchups here where we got 7, 15, 17 matches against pilots here. Then I guess Rethink is relabeled himself his previous username of Diablo, not to be confused with the Diablo of old. Has played 18 matches, is 4-2 against Gold that are not Blue Orb, including a 2016 against Lotharbot in Wrath, 2015 against Dracona in Wrath, 2016 Cyrus Mind Tricks, and 2015 against Cyrus in Ascend. Now for our matchups. We got the Jedi Luke versus Diablo series. 7 matches played in the last 2 weeks. The series is 6-1 in favor of Jeds with an average score of 2013. All of these games were played in Wrath and Wrath derivatives.
Wow.
Notable games: 2018, Diablo over Jeds in Wrath. And Jedi Luke, 2017 in Wrath is a close win, but has held Diablo to 10 or less twice.
It almost makes me wonder, with as much as Wrath is getting played, if this is going to become a core level next season. It's been played a lot.
Well, there's enough time left in the season that it could be very possible. The next series, Jedi Luke versus Dracona, 15 matches played. Notable, Jeds takes this one 15-0, but definitely a lot of close games. The 3 I'd like to highlight: 2017 in Flea X2, 2017 in Junior with Vulcan, and for the X4 trophy, 2018 in Dracona's home of Ascend X4. Average score for this series, 2015. Played 4 times in Ascend, 4 times in Wrath, and 6 times in other levels, just to keep it interesting. And the final matchup, and arguably a source of enormous celebration among many people this past couple weeks, the Jedi Luke Cyrus series. Past 2 weeks, 17 matches played, with Jedi Luke getting a close win in 2017 in Logic, but has held Cyrus to 10 points or less 7 times.
Crazy.
And has held Cyrus to 5 points or less once. But Cyrus has finally broken through, not once, but twice. 2018 in Ascend, 2015 in his home level of RIP, making the series 15-2 in favor of Jeds, with the average score of 20-12, demonstrating just how much determination Cyrus had in order to get those 2 wins out. From my understanding, Jedi Luke did not hold back, and he was throwing suicide to left and right to try to get the game back in control. And they were playing all over, too. They played 3 games in RIP, 3 in Logic, 3 in Ascend or derivatives, 8 games in other levels, including a Mega Nysa X5.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself?
I don't know, but Cyrus has demonstrated that he's a bit of a masochist.
Yes.
Either way, excellent action out of Gold. It's been like 3 reports I've done in a row where Gold has set the standard for activity and excitement, which is to be expected from the highest tier of play. Not to say that other tiers aren't pulling the. I think that Silver is definitely a lot of fun right now. A little sad to see Swarthy stepping up, but with him unretiring, hopefully he'll be able to put in a few competitive games and stay on top of things. So, yeah, excellent week. Can't tell you the total count of matches. I know that there was it was a lull in the center of all of that in the last 2 weeks, but activity is still high, and we're riding it through to the end of the season. It should be. I think we still have quite a few surprises in store for us before the season closes at the end of April. So that's all I got for DCL news. I'm caught up on 2 weeks. Sorry for taking a long time, but you like to hear about yourself.
Absolutely. And of course, just to give an update, the crew Fists of Heaven over at fistofheaven.com, they've been streaming Overload. I actually got Mike to play a D1 game the other night from Fists of Heaven. He's still got some skills. He was a little scary, so hopefully maybe we'll see them around a little more. I don't know, but they've switched over to YouTube. They've been having some trouble with Twitch and some bandwidth, so they're going to be doing the YouTube thing from now on. They still got their Oculus Rift giveaway going, and they've been streaming and supporting the heck out of Overload, and as they should, because Overload has been such a good effort. It's so good to have yet another 6 Degree of Freedom game in the fold, getting ready to go.
And with enthusiastic
awesome. Absolutely. So, very cool.
Indeed.
On to the highlight of the week. Now, did you have anything that could potentially usurp the Zenith game?
Because he's been chasing it for so long and with such a passion.
Now keeping in mind that the Cyrus 2119 game last week was last week's game.
If it was highlighted last week, then it shouldn't be this week. Although I am admittedly a bit proud of that 2018 showing that Melvin and I put on last night. As far as impressive performance goes, I'd have to say going blind against Entropy in his home level is pretty remarkable.
Absolutely. And that was a 20-18 win for Enzo 303 over Entropy in Entropy's home level with Enzo playing it blind. Definitely check that out. I'm going to be cutting up the observatory this week, and I'll post a link to that on the website. So, very cool. I think.
Alrighty, folks. I think that's about all the news that we have. 6 Degrees of Freedom, Descent specific or not, DCL or not. I guess we'll tie things up here. Call for submissions here. If you've got any questions, concerns, comments, or confessions, feel free to email us at emails@selfdestructsequence.org. Be certain to note whether or not you wish to remain anonymous or whether or not you wish to claim credit for calling us the very disgusting and dirty names or insults that you have to inform us of. I know that we don't do a terrible job here, but
you mean the same names that you call other people?
Hey.
Hey, I was reading chat last night.
Other contact info we have, you can reach us on Facebook and Twitch, SDS Podcast, Twitter, SDS_activated, or everything gets posted on selfdestructsequence.org.
And we're coming at you every Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific.
When I'm not busy.
We did it last week. I don't expect there to be many more solo shows. Last week was kind of a necessity to put one out, but yeah, check us out on iTunes. We post our shows over to iTunes, and you can subscribe to us there. Give us a rating, give us a review. Those are the best things you can do to help out the podcast. And if you're wanting to get back into the game, if you got a copy of Descent lying around and wondering what to do with it, well, head over to descentchampions.org/new_player.php, and you too can get back in the game. Check out Facebook and Twitter for our next stream, and that's going to do it for this week. For the Self-Destruct Sequence, I am Ronkley.
And I am Morphod.
And we'll see you next week. See you, bye.